Hi guys, it's Ariana. Welcome back to my channel. So for tonight's video, we are going to be reading some more scary stories that I have found on Reddit. So if you are interested in this wig, if you are interested, well, I didn't do this makeup look on my channel, but if you are interested in this wig, you can go check out my review on it. I will link it up in the eye for you guys so you guys can go check it out. It's from the brand Lush Wigs, and spoiler alert, I really like this wig. It's really fun. It's a split right down the middle, black and orange wig, and it's perfect for spooky season. And then I just felt like being cozy tonight, so I threw on my mustard yellow toque. So I am going to pull up the stories that I have saved on my Reddit that I'm going to read tonight. I'm very excited because they are really creepy and really fun. So as usual, I always have a candle going. You guys just can't see because I have my Halloween background, which you would be able to see a little bit more if my chair wasn't so large, but I like to sit in my comfy chair when I read these stories. That's just what I've been doing. So my spooky background is up and I'm very excited for Halloween. I also have my candle going in my poisoned apple mug. This is one of the candles that I made myself. So if you guys are again interested in making your own candles and you want to know how, I will link my video up in the eye. It's very easy and it's very fun. This candle smells like Snow Fairy. It's a fragrance from Lush. It's one of their, it's like a body wash scent. And then I threw in a little bit of wax from a chocolate candle that I had because that candle actually broke. So now I just have like a bunch of extra wax that smells really nice. So I just throw it into my candles as I burn them down. So it's a mixture of like Lush scent and chocolate, and I like it. So obviously you guys can't see the candle just because I don't have a shelf behind me yet, but I will have a shelf eventually. I am going to pull up the videos. I'm going to pull up the stories and we can get into this video. So one other thing that we're going to have to just deal with is the fact that it is very windy out right now. So if you do hear the wind howling in the background, it's not an effect that I added to make my video sound more spooky. It's literally just annoying because it's the wind, and it's been happening like this for 3 days now, and it's just not gonna stop. So we're gonna have to deal with it. All right, so the first story is by a user named AshleyMa123, and her story is titled, "Her House Really Was Haunted." So back when I was acting at the haunted house, I was quickly promoted to being the casting director. Part of my duties was to watch the underage actors 14 to 18 during the night of acting and make sure they got to and from the haunt and home safely. After a few weeks of this, I was well known and trusted by the parents and all of the actors, so it wasn't too weird when I was asked to babysit one of the actresses so she can keep acting while her mom went on a business trip. Something you should know about this actress, let's call her Alice, is that she was full of energy and kinda gullible. So when she said she wasn't comfortable going to get clothes from her house without me and one other person with her because her house was haunted, I really didn't believe her. Alice was always super easy to scare. She would even scare herself a lot without the help of others. So after the haunt closed for the night, I took her and one of my other underage actors, Adam, to her house to grab her clothes since it was on the way to Adam's house. Her house was an older house and had an open floor plan, so if you stood in the front room, you could easily see into two of the bedrooms that were straight ahead, a doorway to another bedroom, and the kitchen on your right. When we first entered, Alice took off and turned on all of the lights, saying she didn't want to see the shadow man. Adam and I stood by the front door and kind of laughed and joked to each other about her actions. Alice then went into her room, which was in the middle of the two bedrooms, and quickly packed a bag. She then came and handed me her bag and said she needed to grab some socks from her mom's room, which was in the bedroom you couldn't see into. She went there and Adam followed. I was still standing by the front door and I could see Alice's bed, which had a black blanket laying in the middle, or so I thought. I looked down to respond to a text, and then when I looked back up into Alice's room, I watched as the black blanket slowly sat up and morphed into a human-like shadow figure. I called out to Alice and said I thought you were home alone, and she confirmed she was. By the tone, I could tell she knew that something was wrong, so I wasn't shocked when she came out dragging Adam by the arm. As they came towards me, I watched the black shadow slowly stand up and start to follow them. The shadow thing was so tall that its head touched the door frame. My face must have shown the fear because they both started to run and ran out the front door. I couldn't make myself move. This is until I could see the shadow figure had red eyes. I turned and sprinted to my van and got into the driver's seat as Adam and Alice got in the back. Adam asked what had happened, and before either Alice or I could answer, we watched as all the lights in Alice's house turned off at once. All three of us screamed and tore out of that neighborhood way faster than I should have. I never went to Alice's house again after that, and I never doubted her stories of her house being haunted. That was Ashley's story. Her story is actually pretty short, but it was creepy nonetheless. It definitely gave me chills the first time I read it, and I was very uncomfortable. I'm really curious now to know if there's any updates or if anything ever happened in that house or what's going on with that shadow man, because that is creepy. So that was the first story. I'm gonna get into this second one now. So the second one was, he talks to me through my dreams. So this is by the user Hippified. So it goes, hey everyone, I'm sorry if this is long. I'm new to this and I've never written on here before. I'll start by saying I don't view myself as a psychic, but more that I'm just in tune to my surroundings. It's also important to note that I have 3 cats and a dog and a bird, as they are important to the story. I live in the basement apartment of my grandparents' house. I moved in when I was in my teens because my mom didn't exactly have a stable life and my dad, well, he isn't around. Ever since moving into this house, I have just sensed that we had a house guest who we couldn't see. I had a lot of things going on in my teens with mental health and family drama, so I guess I never paid much attention to the unseen house guest. It didn't help my grandmother refused to acknowledge him for the fear of him getting stronger. My mom lived here for a time with her husband, and while she lived here, that's when it really started to notice the house guest. Right after my mom moved out, she told me that there was a man in the house, but she didn't speak on it very much. After she left, I moved downstairs because I was now an adult and my grandparents moved back upstairs into their house. Lots of moving, I know. My family dynamic is not stable. As soon as I moved downstairs, it's when things really started to happen. Every night as part of our routine before bed, I would take my dog out for her last pee between 11 p.m. and midnight, right at the top of the stairs in the landing. And if you turn left, you can go into the family room through a doorway. I have to pass this doorway to take her outside. When things first started, I didn't notice the feeling I have now, but my dog definitely did. It started with a fear of going through that doorway at night. Now, she just avoids as much of the landing as she can in fear of whatever stands there. As time passed, taking her out started to become uncomfortable because I started to feel like I was being watched. I could literally feel his eyes staring at me as I came up the stairs and when I have to go back down. Once I became open and aware of him, that's when I feel like he knew he could reach me. After the first night of being watched, I started to get crazy dreams. He would talk to me through these dreams, tell me things like his name, or simply show me visions of the future. They come in parts and are hard to piece together, but when they come true, I get hit with a bad case of deja vu and a headache. A couple months ago, I finally talked to my mom about him and told her he gave me his name. The crazy part is, she knew what his name was without me even telling her, and it's not a very common name, so there's no way she could have guessed. I mentioned at the beginning that I have 3 cats that live in my apartment with me. When I'm upstairs, his presence is very strong. I never once felt him down here, and I think it's because of my cats, particularly my black one. When my cats do venture upstairs, or even just by the apartment door to get upstairs, they seem fixated on nothing. I read about cats being able to see spirits, and I think they can see our house guest, and they don't like it, and I don't think he likes it either. I feel like they prevent him from coming into my apartment, which in all honesty is just fine with me. They also seem to sense he comes to me through my dreams, as all 3 of them sleep on the bed with both me and my dog. They have always made me feel safe. A ton of other things have happened, like lights being messed with or items going missing and reappearing in places that are just spooky. He once stole my grandmother's credit cards, and after days of searching one night when she was going to the bathroom, there they were right outside her bedroom. This post is starting to get really long and I could make a whole other post on experiences of my house guests. And then they just basically said like, thank you for reading. So I actually commented on it and I said, do you have an update on this? And I messaged them and their update was, one thing is that right after I wrote the story, the atmosphere around me felt really uncomfortable. I had a really hard time sleeping, and when I finally did sleep, I just got the feeling that he didn't appreciate me writing it, nor did he like me talking about it. So that's really freaking creepy. And of course, I asked him, I was like, hey, can I post this? And he was like, yeah, you can read this on your channel. So that's really, really scary and really uncomfortable. But I don't know, those stories are really creepy. This is gonna be like a shorter version of stories. I have one other story to tell. It's actually from an Instagram user. She messaged me and said that she had just had like a short little story that she wanted to tell me, and I was like, hell yeah. So the next one, the last one that I'm gonna read tonight is from Alyssa D. She messaged me and said, so I watched your latest video of the spooky stories and you said to comment or message Instagram if you had any spooky stories that you wanted to share. And she says, well, it's not entirely a whole big story, so you don't have to use it or anything. But when I was a kid, I slept with the door shut and the door handle would jiggle in the middle of the night. Later on, I thought maybe I was dreaming or my brother was messing with me. But a year and a half ago, we were back home visiting and I stayed in my old bedroom. My husband said that when he was getting dressed that the door swung open on him and no one was there. He thought it was one of the dogs, but no one was there at all. And just tonight as we were back home visiting again, he just saw a watch fall on the floor by itself and his phone also fell. That's really creepy! And that was a very short story. She just said that to me and I was like, oh my god, I will definitely include that in the next spooky story that I do. So this was obviously a little bit shorter of spooky stories, but I did want to read just a couple of really quick stories just to give you guys another spooky video because it 8 o'clock on a Monday. It is a holiday here. It is Thanksgiving in Canada, so happy Thanksgiving Canada, whatever. So I did just want to come on here and do a quick little video because I'm going to start getting ready for bed and start getting ready for the rest of the week because I gotta work tomorrow. It's no longer a holiday after tomorrow. So I just wanted to come on here and read a couple spooky stories, get into the spooky season spirit because it is October 12th today and we are in the middle of spooky season. I know I haven't really posted a whole lot of videos for spooky season. I have a bunch planned. It's just doing body paint is not really my specialty and I'm not really good at it. So whenever I do those videos, it takes me a really long time to do them and it takes me a really long time to edit them and it's really a lot of work. So I probably will only have maybe 2 or 3 more. I did just post my pumpkin video, so if you guys are interested in me turning myself into a spooky pumpkin, you guys can go watch that video. I will link it up in the eye for you. But like I said, I'm not a body painter, so this is just me fooling around with paint and trying my best to create spooky content for you. Even though I'm really not a special effects artist or a body painter, I am barely a makeup artist. Like, I'm a makeup enthusiast at most. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below for more content like this. If you guys are enjoying my spooky content series, let me know in the comments down below. I will continue doing this series past October if you guys are enjoying it and if you guys are interested in it. So please let me know. I love reading spooky stories on my channel. I love reading spooky stories in general. And I know some of my my viewers, my subscribers have commented saying, oh my god, I do not like listening to this before I go to bed. And I'm like, well, you can watch it in the day. But thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you guys at the next video. Bye.